आप सभी को फिर से प्रणाम. A very good evening to all of you. And today we are at the third session of Understanding Design course. And it's although a 4 week course, but we have recently completed our half journey last week. And today we'll be discussing on the week three of the course. Week three of the course is basically comprising of certain content which has been instructed by Professor Neena Sabnani. And along with her, there are certain industry experts who join in this week's session. They discuss a lot of aspects of how the design could be improved, the role of collaboration in design, the role of industry in design, and it along with a lot of case studies has been presented in the week three content. Now, like we have been doing in the past few weeks, this week also we'll be going through the set of protocol slides, which will be the initial few minutes. We'll be pondering upon the basic agenda of these sessions, and followed by the content recap, which will be basically comprising of whatever content they have discussed in the form of case studies, in the form of lecture modules, and then we'll have the set of questions, which will be the 10 set of questions given to the presented to you on the screen, so that you can attempt it, you can try it, assess your understanding of the content which you have gone through recently, and then probably attempt the final quiz. Although the order of attempting the quiz is up to you. You can do it before the live session. You can also do it after the live session, because you know that a window still remains for you to attempt the quizzes. I'll also be sharing the deadlines for this week's quiz, along with the examination registration part, which we have been covering, in each and every sessions. The idea is that the learner can join in any of these sessions. So that is why we have a set of protocol slides, as well as set of questions and a content recap that happens. Now, the order of this, might change a little. So, like in the past 2 weeks, what we have been doing is that we gone through the content recap in the form of snippets and the screenshots of the course content, and then we presented the set of 10 questions. Today we'll do it in a different way. After the protocol slides, we'll actually go through the set of 10 questions, and post that we'll be going through the content recap, right? And for the content recap, we'll be referring to the PDF, the book version, which we'll be quickly going through. I have highlighted certain text, which are relevant, which could be remembered, so that it can also help during the final examination, right? So before I start today's session, we have Michelle. Hi, Michelle. If you can, please speak up. Just a brief discussion, and then I'll share my screen as well.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Michelle.
Yes, I've been there for the last session as well. I'm currently working as an assistant professor at Chandigarh University, the Department of Design.
Right, ma'am. So, ma'am, can you tell us, I mean, how have been the previous week's content? Were you able to attempt those questions? And was there any challenge with respect to the understanding or the quizzes?
The content was very enriching. I found this week's content rather more interesting, or much more interesting than the previous weeks, especially the part where they discuss on collaboration and being a team player, especially the four set of questions they gave, which is like what one likes to do and does well, what one does not like to do but does not do well. I found that very interesting and I tried doing that as well.
Nice, nice,
I
ma'am.
also found the story of the example they provided where the study a group of chickens where there is a star performer. You know how it's really similar to human beings. I could also relate a lot with it. Think there is a lot of self reflection required. It was kind of an eye opener as well.
So, which means that you're also going through the all the additional sources of learning.
Yeah, the chair case study, which is like ongoing thing for every week, is also very interesting. Especially this week's, where they showed us a different manufacturing method of using steam to bend beech wood. That also is very interesting.
Sure, ma'am. Thanks for sharing. Thank you so much. We have got Dr. Nitin. Hello, sir. If you can briefly introduce yourself and some thoughts on this course. Nitin. All right, no issue, sir. So if you can write in your introduction, that is also perfectly fine. Just to understand, what background you are having and what is your motivation of joining the course. So probably since the first week, I've been asking this to to understand the kind of audience we have, the diversity we have, and what are their motivations of joining in, whether it's learning, whether it is being exposed to design, and for students it could be many other things. So okay, from mechanical engineering from Pune and learning the design aspects. All right, all right. So welcome, sir. I believe this is your first session in this live session series. All right, all right. So most welcome, sir. I'll be sharing my screen, and probably it will be beneficial for you to go through the initial deck of common slides, so that you get a picture and an idea about how the sessions are conducted, what you need to be watchful about. Right. So I'll quickly share my screen. Join in through my mobile as well. Because in one of the sessions, it happened that I was speaking and the internet went off, and I was speaking continuously for half an hour, and then I realized that the internet is an issue. So that is why I'll also connect with my mobile device just to understand if we are available, we are online. Yes. Great. So I believe my screen is visible. So once again, welcome all of you on this particular session, the week three session, which we are conducting today. We have conducted the week one and week two the past couple of weeks. The course name is Understanding Design. Instructor is Professor Neena Sabnani from IIT Bombay. And as I mentioned, today is week three, 12th of Feb. I am Abhishek Srivastava. A very quick background. I am architect from my bachelor's of education. I did my master's in industrial design. After that, I had worked for a while as a design educator as well as a design professional. And after that, I started my doctoral journey. So I am currently a research fellow at Department of Design at IIT Roorkee. So, like I've mentioned, the initial few slides are basically primer slides, as you can see. The first 10 15 slides will be talking about the general agenda, where to reach out for the resources, how to ask questions, and how the typology of the questions will be in your examination as well as in the sample set of questions, which will be followed by the sample set of 10 questions and the content recap part. All right. So the general agenda remains the same. We are there to help you in the current run of courses. Uh, so whichever week's content is made alive, we'll be discussing around those content, and the sample questions will be basically from those content. We shall discuss and solve previous year's assignments as well as some new questions as well. So it will not be entirely previous years because many times the questions are very, very similar, and we don't want that, we give direct answers to those questions because those questions for you are something which will be evaluated from. So your internal marking is happening through those quizzes, right? So whenever there is a similarity or an overlap or a very similar question, we replace it with a certain new question, which is basically from the lectures which have been given, or the additional learning material or the reference material. Okay. Respond to the questions and queries posted in the discussion forum. So I'll discuss this functionality in quite detail. Probably in the next slide, I have a screenshot of how to reach out from. So this platform is basically offered by NPTEL. What it basically is a Google group, and this Google group contains all the stakeholders. So all the learners who have been a part of this course, me as a TA of this course, as well as a few NPTEL members. Right. Now, how this helps is that if any learner has any question, any doubt, he can or she can actually pose that question in the Google group. The moment a message is posted, everybody who is a part of that group, which means all the learners, all the TAs, and the NPTEL team, they get a notification about that message. And depending upon the type of query, it is responded. Recently, I saw there were few questions about the assignments. Sorry, not precisely assignment was mainly about the examination part, typology of examination, and whether it will be multiple choice questions or whether it will be subjective types of questions. So I would just like to highlight that if you are doing it, for a certificate perspective, obviously you will have to appear for the physical examination. Now, typology of examination is basically decided by the course instructor. Okay. So it may change down the years, it may remain, what it has been in the past, but that entirely depends on the course instructor. Okay. So so it can be one of the two. It can be either multiple choice or it can be, subjective, or it can also be a mix of both, so that completely depends on the course instructor. And usually this formats, this typology, this mixture is informed when the hall tickets are released, right? So we'll have to wait till the time the hall tickets are released in order to understand more about, what will be the final methodology, not methodology, the final scheme of how the questions would appear in your examination. So a few things to keep in mind during the live session. I would request all of you to please keep your mic on mute. The idea is that we are basically recording these sessions. It's a mandate given by the NPTEL team to record all these sessions and to upload it on YouTube. Right. The idea is that there is a good possibility that many of you are not able to, go through these, be a part of live sessions. So whenever you have that luxury of time, you can actually, click on them, go through it. Like I mentioned, we also have a lot of students who are a part of this course, but because of their assignments or their exam schedule or, class tests and all, they are not able to, join these sessions. And for them, it becomes really helpful that, whenever they are free, they can actually watch these videos in the convenience of their time. If you have any questions or, I'm asking for a response, or when we are discussing the, sample set of 10 questions, I would want you to please participate, please engage, because the more we speak, the more we have a dialogue, the more understanding we generate. We understand different perspective. and it's more like a peer learning which is happening. Okay. For any questions, kindly post in the discussion forum. I've already discussed about this. You basically reach out this through a tab called Ask a Question. So when you click here, it basically leads you to a Google group. The group title remains the same of the subject title. So if for this course, it shall remain understanding design. Okay. So if you're a part of any other NPTEL course, then also you'll be having the same group. However, the title will basically be the course title. All right. We have seen that there are many people who take multiple NPTEL courses out of interest, out of passion. It's a great thing because you are learning parallelly in so many things. So although managing might become a tricky situation, but then it's always a great thing to learn. Talking about this platform, so NPTEL is for technology enhanced learning. The moment you log in with your credentials, you basically land on this page. It's basically the about the course page, and this probably is the left pane wherein you see the past content and your actionable items. You also get to see two options to register for examination if you are doing it as a part of course credit, or if you need a certificate at the end of examination. In this widget, you get to see all the course outlines starting from week 1 to week 4. I believe from week 1 to week 4 all the content is made live now. So since it's a 4-week course, so the entire content I believe is available. Can anyone confirm that's something which I came across, that all the lectures are made live now? All right, no issues. So you can actually go through it. You can just log in with your credentials, just check the course outline. You'll be able to see all the course content. The progress tab basically shares your progress in terms of how much content you have gone through and the assignments marking, right? So I believe week 1 and week 2 marks are already released out of 100, and you can actually go there and check your marks just in case you have not seen it. If you have attempted those quizzes, the marks are now made live. I think we have got a question. Let me just go back to this. Hello, Gauri. You can please unmute yourself and you can share your query.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, Gauri.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yeah, I want to know that are the mentors allotted for this?
What do you mean by mentors? I am unable to understand.
Because it was mentioned in that the mentors will be allotted
Where was it mentioned?
while we join the course in the course information.
Okay, Gauri, before we discuss this, can you tell me your background? I mean, are you a student or you a professional? Which course, which college?
Okay, I am from MIT University and I'm doing MSc e-learning.
MSc e-learning. Okay. And what is the motivation for you to join this course?
So basically, I will be instructional designer in future. So I want to understand design, and I'm a great fan of Nina Sabnani ma'am.
Great, great. All right. So good to know that you have something decided what you want to become and you are in a trajectory of doing that. All right.
Yes.
Actually, this particular session is more like a problem solving session wherein, all those who are the learners of this course who are attempting the 4-week quizzes, basically, if you have any questions, you can ask, you can discuss. What we also do is that we kind of present all the learners with a set of 10 questions which are pertaining to the same week. And it's basically to add more understanding and learning about the course, and make you aware that these kind of questions may also be asked. Now, what you are referring to might connect with something called as open design school, wherein the learners are expected to do some kind of a project as well in addition to these assignments, right? So, and there, maybe in the videos you would have seen that, you need to talk to your mentor or, guide likewise. So I believe it is coming from that, although we have not been given, detailed clarity in this particular aspect. Our role is limited to addressing the queries content wise. If there is any technical issue, if there is any understanding issue, and then a set of questions just to improve the learning of the learners.
Okay, sir. Thank you. No issues.
I'll continue sharing my screen. All right. So, like I mentioned in the previous slide, that all these sessions are recorded and these are uploaded. So, there are two aspects to keep a watch out for. One is the videos, which are recorded and uploaded as a channel in YouTube, and the other is the presentations. So, the presentations which I am showing right now, we have made similar presentations for the last 2 weeks as well. The presentations also include annotations, whatever we scribble, whatever people say, whatever the learners' thoughts are, how are they voting, everything you can actually see. So even if you have not been a part of the live session, actually you can see how diverse the responses are going, and what people are thinking. So I think it's a great way of capturing those moments, even if you are seeing the PDF version of it. Right. Now, both these content are also available to all the learners. Like I mentioned, this is the left widget. If you scroll down at the bottom, you will see the problem solving session link. The moment you click on this link, it will lead you to another link, which will be leading you to an Excel sheet. And this Excel sheet will have week-wise table. And for every row, you'll be having a specific YouTube link. Okay. So if you have not explored this area, you can please go and visit this. So for week 1 and week 2, we have already uploaded it. For week 3, we'll be uploading it tomorrow, and week 4, the next week. There will be a common column for each of this, which will be having the Google Drive link. So this will be opening a link wherein you will have week 1, week 2 PDF files as well. All right. This I think everybody knows who are been regular in this course and who have been doing it diligently. The course name is in Understanding Design. Professor Neena Sapnani, who has been from IIT Bombay. She has been a very renowned animator. She has won a lot of national awards for the animations. The course run is 4 weeks, and the week 3 assignment deadline is 14th of Feb. Right, so we have got a couple of days left. If you have not submitted those assignments, it's important that you meet these deadlines, because once the deadline is over, then you will not be allowed to revisit the quizzes or the assignments. Another thing which is very interesting about these quizzes is that till the assignment deadline is over, you can submit it multiple times. Right? It's a great feature because it allows you to revisit the responses you have written by actually revisiting the content. Great. So it gives you that flexibility कि आप दोबारा जाके content देख सकते हैं. If you think this particular answer may be incorrect as a response, you can resubmit all these assignments any number of times. Okay. ये आप तब तक कर सकते हैं till there is this deadline. Okay. So like for week 3, the deadline is 14th of Feb. So till 14th of Feb, you can submit it multiple times. The examination date proposed is 23rd of March 23, 3, sorry, 24, 3, 24. If you're doing it for the certificate perspective, you need to actually go there and physically appear for the examination. Okay. You can choose one of these slots. Basically, two slots are given that you can appear for multiple courses. The exam registration ends by 16th of February. So this is a critical deadline which you need to remember. If you want to appear for examination, if you want to gain a certificate, please do it as soon as possible. You don't have much time left. All right. Like I mentioned about the progress tab, it basically shows your progress for unit wise as well as the assessment scores. So unit wise progress is basically how much content you have consumed. Okay, what I mean by this is that how much content you have downloaded, you have gone through each and every video or not. So it gives you a generic idea of whether you have been, even going through the content or not. And then, obviously you can relate this with the assessment scores as well. So for every week, you'll be getting marking, probably out of 100, right? And so actually, it's a good matrix wherein you see that how much content I've gone through. If I've gone through only half of it, whether I'm scoring that well or not. So it gives you a good picture of you know it gives you a good picture of how much content you're consuming, how much is your efficiency, how much you are able to understand and absorb the content, and then how much you are being able to perform in these quizzes. All right. So from a certification perspective, this particular slide is very important. If you're just here out of interest and you want to learn, the course is completely free. So all the contents, all the slides, all the learning materials, it will be provided free to you all. But if you want to gain a certificate, you'll have to register for the course and you have to appear for a physical examination in person at any designated exam centers. Okay. There was a deadline that till Feb 12th 5 p.m. the fees will be 1,000 rupees per examination, but they'll be charging a late fee if it is beyond that. Okay, so till 16th of Feb you can actually appear for the examination, or other saying appear, you can register for the examination, but from now on the late fee is being applicable. Plus, there is certain fee waivers for the following categories. So, if you belong to, you need to give certain documentation as a proof. You need to upload it, and you can avail that fee waiver. So, criteria to gain a certificate. So, every session I try to give some time to it. So, following that tradition, I'll take the liberty of explaining it here as well. So, just like your school examination, your board examination, we have got two components: the internal and the external. Internal component is basically your week one, two, three, four quizzes, which have been given a weightage of 25%. External is your physical examination, or rather saying, proctored examination at a center, designated exam center. Its weightage is 35%, and this all sums up to 100%. Okay. Now let me highlight the tricky part here. So within the internals, you need to score at least 10 marks. Here you need to score at least 30 marks so that you have a score of 40 or more. All right. We would want you to, get as much marks as possible. That's the basic detailing which they have mentioned. This is like a qualifying criteria as well, right? Which means that at least 10, at least 30 needs to be scored. Even if you are scoring, say for example, you scored 5 and you scored 45 here, and you're scoring 50, but that will not help you gain a certificate because you are not meeting this criteria, right? Which means that internal also you need to perform, external also you need to perform, so that your overall marks are qualifying 40 and above. right? Uh, there is a leverage which is given that out of the four assignments, only the best three are considered. Okay. So although there are four set of assignments, even if you have missed out, on them, the best three will be considered for internal evaluation. Correct. So if you have missed one of them, please, do not miss the future ones. All right. So this is just a brief, topic preview. We started in week one with introduction to design and users and the context. This was followed by design and society and design and sustainability. The week three talks about design and industry, design and collaboration, and the principles of collaboration. So basically, 10 principles of collaboration. The additional learning material comprises of OXO good grips, which is being discussed as the set of kitchen appliances, assistive technology design. I think it's in a form of a video, which you can actually see. All right. So the typology of questions, there are two typology of questions. One is single choice based, and then you have multiple select answers. Okay. So I think it's quite evident. In this, you can only choose one of them, but here there will be more than one correct answers. So I need to select the correct ones in order to get the right response. Now, because of the two typologies, the marking criteria also differs a bit. Okay. This again is a slide wherein I invest a little detail and I explain it. So each of these scenarios we'll try to understand through an example so that the marking criteria is quite clear. So the question is which among the below is a beverage? Right. Nice. All right. It's just a depictive question. Which among below is a beverage? So the options are slice, fruity, bread, and cake. The correct answers are A and B, slice and fruity. Okay. Now let's take the scenarios and understand this, what is happening. Okay. So option A says if all the options chosen by the student are correct and no incorrect answer has been chosen, then full marks. Okay. So if I select A, if I select B, and if I submit, I'll get full marks because I've chosen all the correct answers. Scenario 2. If at least one incorrect answer has been chosen, then no marks, which means if I select B and if I select C and I submit, I'll get no marks or zero marks because I've chosen one incorrect response. Option C says, the third scenario says, only correct answers are chosen, but not all correct answers have been chosen, then partial marks, which means I select A and I have a confusion, I have a doubt, I'm not sure about the other things, so I submit. So here I'll get partial marks. Okay, so which means that you might end up getting 0.33, you might end up getting 0.66. If you get these marks, it's basically because of the partial marking for the reason that you have chosen one correct answers, but the other correct answer was missing. Okay, right. So, in terms of content recap, right now what I'll do is I'll just give you, how you can go through the content in a quick way. After the set of 10 questions, I'll be actually going through the content page wise. So if you have time, you can actually be a part of this session till that time. because I think the sample set of 10 questions are much important, because that is the main agenda of this session. Okay. So this basically is what you'll get in the books section. It is an entire PDF of the whole course from week 1 to week 4. Uh, it is available in your NPTEL platform. So week 3 content starts by page number 150 and ends by 19. Okay. So it takes these set of pages. It includes a summarized, in fact, it's not summarized, basically transcribed version of what is being said in the video. It's a video transcript basically, along with the images. Okay, so images are also there, so you'll be able to relate it. I think reading is much better than following the video. So if you have less time, if you are appearing for examination during that time, you can actually have a very quick walkthrough of it. It might be helpful for you during the final examination. Okay. So even before you attempt your quizzes, I think it's a great way of remembering each and everything, because it rarely happens that you are able to go through the entire content in one go. One can take multiple breaks in multiple days, and a couple of things they get lost. So these PDFs are a good way of understanding them. All right. So we start with our set of 10 questions. As I mentioned, these questions are not to evaluate you or give you any marks, or tag you that you are the you're getting the more marks. It's more in terms of understanding whether you are being able to go through the content, absorb the content, and translate that content into certain understanding wise answers. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll be asking these questions, and I'll be taking the opinion of the class. We'll mark, which options you feel are the correct ones, and then we'll find the correct answer. And that's how we'll go about these set of 10 questions. Right. So the first question says, in the case of Gillette Garden India, what were some of the initial findings of the research? The options are: Indian men tend to have thinner hair than European men. Indian men tend to have thicker hair than the European men. In rural areas, people do not shave as frequently. In urban areas, people do not shave very frequently. These options are same, however, changes with the rural and urban. Here the changes type of hairs we are talking about. Okay. So I would request all of you to please unmute one by one, and you can tell me what you think is the correct answer. For those who may not be aware, Gillette Guard is basically the razor. It's used for shaving. That's the product we are basically talking about right now. Anyone?
B
Okay. So just
and D.
B and D.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got Dr. Nathan. He's saying B and C. Thank you, sir, for your response. All right. So we have got this as a common answer. However, we've got mixed opinion here and here. Okay. Okay. Anyone else in the group?
B and C.
Okay. B and C. May I know your name, please? I think it's Karan. Is it you? Okay. Okay. So we have got one more reply, B and C. Anyone else? Question is, in case of Gillette Garden India, what were some of the initial findings of the research? So we are talking about the initial set of findings. So when they went about with their team of 20 researchers, they got some additional insights to it, but this was something which they, found out initially, and they created a product and they launched it. However, they were not very successful at that time. Okay, so let's go and check the correct answers. Okay, so the correct answers are B and C. Indian men tend to have thicker hairs than the European men. And the second thing which they realized was in rural areas, people do not shave as frequently or not daily, probably. Okay. So their intent was that they were not able to reach the rural market. Okay. So although urban scenario where they had already made a good market कैप्चर बट रूरल इंडिया में वो इंटरवीन नहीं कर पा रहे थे एंड they went ahead by these two broad understanding which was the thickness of hair and the shaving pattern that they do not shave very frequently and probably not daily. Okay, so these were the initial two findings which they gained, and then they launched something. However, if you go through the study, you'll realize that it was not very successful at that time. So we have a question for the subsequent case as well. Okay. As per the field study by researchers from Gillette, men in rural areas shaved dash water sitting on the dash in a very low light, sometimes with a small dash and sometimes with the dash mirror at all. Okay. So basically this is another way of asking question. It is the fill in the blanks method. Again, the way you answer is something familiar with you, but the way the question is asked is completely changed. Okay, so I would request everybody to please share your opinions. Dr. Nitin says C as one of the option. Yes, you may please.
See,
Right. Let's read the question once again. As per field study by researchers. Now here we are talking about the field study, which means that the researchers actually went to the ground zero, right? They went to the villages. They probably lived with them, stayed with them, shadowed them, documented their visits through sketches, videos, audio, imagery, and then they realized something this that men in the rural areas shaved dash water sitting on the dash in a very low light, sometimes with a small dash and sometimes with a okay. So you've got four responses to be answered. However, the marks remains one, right? See the beauty of the question. So to understand this, you actually have to go through the content, and then only you'll be able to respond to tricky questions like this. Okay. So let's see the options one by one. Men in the rural areas shaved dash with water. So the options for the first lot are with well water, यानी कि कुएं के पानी से, विदाउट पानी यानी कि बिना पानी के, विदाउट रनिंग यानी कि रनिंग वाटर से हमारा मतलब होता है वी रेफर टू द टैप वाटर, राइट? We refer to the tap water. So normally what we see in the urban areas is that you've got a basin, you've got a tap, and there is a continuous flow, and then you actually shave it through. Okay, so this scenario is there in the urban landscape more or less, but in the rural areas they realize that this scenario was not there. It is basically without running water, which meant what? कोई बता सकता है? If it was not without running water, then what water? Okay, we'll come to that. So these are the three options. Sitting on the dash. So we have charpai. I think we all are from the Indian context. We completely understand, what we are talking about. It is a four-legged, you can say, bed, which has a very intricate weaving pattern. You can see a lot of designs there. The good part is that the strings gives you certain flexibility, certain swing motion. Yeah, so you often see this in the rural context. So it's got wooden legs. Stool. Okay, this is the other option which says we stool like this or पीढ़ा भी बोलते हैं हम लोग भारतीय परिवेश में there are many multiple things which you can actually see in a home. So people can actually sit like this. Floor. So traditionally we have been floor seaters. हमारे बहुत सारे काम नीचे बैठ के होते हैं. आप कपड़े धोने का ले लो, खाना बनाने का देख लो. Even a lot of cultures they prefer sitting like this and eating. Okay, जिसको हम बोलते हैं पालथी पोस्चर भी बोलते हैं हम लोग. इंग्लिश में भी से द क्रॉस लेगेड इंडियन क्रॉस लेगेड वे ऑफ सिटिंग. Okay, let's come to the third slot, which says in a very low light, sometimes with a small dash. So it says mug, floor. So although mug could be an answer, पानी में मग्घे में पानी लेके करते हैं लोग because they don't have the liberty of getting a running water. All the scenarios have changed, but we are talking about the case study during that time. So it could be a possibility that mug was used. Okay, and this option is mirror, है ना? So which means that we are talking about a small mirror, probably either on the wall or हो सकता है कोई सूटकेस उस पे रखा हो सकता है कोई किताब हो सकता है कोई स्टूल पे रख के वो कर रहे हैं. And sometimes with dash mirror at all. So whether it can be large, it can be multiple, or it can be no. So anybody else who has any difference of opinion, any other choice for this question? Two. We have got options for C, which is let's take a different color. Okay. Now, people have said one and two without running. So let's complete the sentence. Men in rural areas shaved. Let me take a different. Stop. Shaved. So let's. If we fill option C without running water, sitting on the floor. Okay, in a very low light, sometimes with a small mirror. Okay, and sometimes with no mirror at all. Okay. So before I share the responses, may I just request the learners who are present, uh, can you tell, I mean, how much is the this sitting posture relevant in today's time in your lifestyle? क्या अभी भी you pursue this or we have completely transformed from this to this. If I may please ask the learners to please respond. मतलब आप कोई एक्टिविटीज है जो आप अभी ऐसे बैठ के करते हैं या फिर इट हैज completely transformed into a chair based sitting.
I'm currently sitting in that Indian cross-leg posture because of the because I'm staying in a hostel and there is no separate table all the time. So I use a small laptop table on the bed, which forces me to sit cross-legged or with my leg stretched. So yeah, I'm
Interesting.
using that posture.
Nice, nice. Great, ma'am. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else would like to share? Nathan, sir, if you are there. So, ma'am, how comfortable it is? I mean, is it the limitation of furniture which is forcing you to sit this way? Or is it also the comfort which is, aiding you in this posture?
I would say it is comfortable because we are kind of used to this posture. from a very young age.
What if the chair and table was provided then?
Well, after some time, I would do the same on a chair as well.
Hmm. Yes, I think that is also a practice which a lot of us do, adopt. Eventually, it becomes one of the different postures we adopt while we sit on a chair. Right. Okay. Thank you. So let's check out the answers now. This imagery basically shows, the scenarios we were talking about. Sometimes they would use mirrors. Sometimes they might use their mobile phones. On a selfie mode as well. That is how deep the mobile penetration has gone into. People do have cameras, do have these things with music and all. This is where you see the toothpaste, the mug, the small bucket we are talking about, and sitting like that. Okay. So the correct answer is C. All of you are right. It's without running water on the floor in a very low light, sometimes with a small mirror, and sometimes with no mirror at all. Okay. So no mirror means यहाँ पे हो सकता है they use cameras or on a selfie mode, or it might also be sometimes they have almiras which have a very metal kind of a chrome finish, even though it is without a mirror, but then the chrome finish actually helps them see their face, and it could be just a guess. With a frequent practice, even if you don't have that, you are able to actually do it. All right. Let's go to our third question. The example of design and manufacturing of symphony air cooler range suggests that. Okay, so remember we are talking about the coolers. Designers may use existing technology in new patentable ways. A new design always requires a new technology. For new ideas to emerge in, the initiatives needs to come from industries and none of the above. Okay, so please note the context here. Now we have come out of the Gillette guard to a different case study altogether. We are talking about the air coolers. It's Symphony air coolers. They marked a remarkable shift from the metal coolers to a plastic-based coolers. है ना? So rather, I would write body. So metal body say they shifted from plastic body because in the metal body they faced certain issues. कोई बता सकते हैं what were the issues they faced due to the metal body of the coolers?
Issues are noise and rust.
Well done, sir. Well done. So now, sir, your mic is clear, huh?
No, no, I am switching to the mobile.
Okay, 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 okay. Correct, sir. Correct. The issues were noise and rust, because of which they approached a design team to come up, addressing this challenge, that too for a specific scenario. So that scenario, we have a question on that as well. We'll take it later. So let's go back to this question. The example of design and manufacturing of Symphony air coolers range suggests that. So these options are right in front of you. Please take some time and try to suggest what could be the right answer.
Answer may lies in A or C. I'm thinking on it.
Sir is saying B or C.
No, sorry, sir. A and C.
Okay, okay. A and C. Anyone else? Anyone who might think that there could be a different answer? Sir, let me tell you, this is a single choice question. So you won't be able to select multiple answers. So if now you have to select one of them, what would it be?
C, C. C is the answer.
Okay. Anyone else? We have Karan, we have Meena, Michelle. Any of your thoughts, even if it's not what you think?
I would also go with C.
Okay, we have got two opinions on C. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So people have opted for C. Let's see the correct answer. Okay. So the correct answer is A. Designers may use existing technology in new patentable ways. Now, can anyone tell me what was the technology they are referring to? Let me give you a hint. It is related to plastic manufacturing. All right. So,
Injection mold.
correct, sir. Perfect. So, they gave the example of injection molding as a technique. And they say that, while they were doing it, I think in the 80s or the 90s, uh, around that time, they came up with this thing. And during that time, the injection molding was not being used to make cooler body. So, they utilized this technology in a very different domain, come up with a lightweight cooler which can actually address the issues of noise, address the issues of rust, and could be made patentable as well. Okay. So the correct answer is option A. Designer may use existing technology like the injection molding technique they're referring to in new patentable ways. Let's come to the fourth question. It's related to the Hockey Pocky ice cream container. Hockey Pocky. Has anyone had any ice cream from Hockey Pocky? For me, it was a new thing. I was not aware that there is a brand like that which existed. Is anyone aware of this brand, Hockey Pocky? Okay, let's go to the question. What attributes of Hockey Pocky ice cream container, let's say HP ice cream container, make it successful as an example of integrating form with function? So if just to recall you, give you some certain recall, it was something like this, right? So it's basically ice cream packaging. Can they? Acha, I'll not detail it more. Okay. So the options are stackable and easy to store in a retail environment. It has a handle to hold on to without freezing the hand. क्योंकि कई बार आपको जो कप्स होते हैं, जो ट्रेडिशनल कप्स अगर आपको देखे हो अमूल के या वडीलाल के हैवमोर के फ्रीजर में रखने में people find that as an issue. Easy to hold on with a spoon for eating on the go. So which means that if you're walking down, there is a cup and you can actually utilize it. Stands out and instantly recognizable by the user, which means it's quite unique in its appearance and it has a good recall value. So it's quite distinguished. Okay. So let me open in this question. So we have got response from Minakshi ji, A, C, and D. So we've got one
Answer
response.
answer is
Yes,
C
ma'am.
and C and D. C and D.
Okay. So sir is saying C and D, not the A. Okay.
A and C.
Which one?
A and C.
Okay. So let's do the voting here. Okay, so this is how the responses have come out, wherein this is A, this is B, this is C. Okay. So it's a multi-select, so it could be more than one. So we can see actually there are three opinions where C takes the maximum value. Okay, yes, it is one of the correct responses. If you recall, they made a, so if you recall, they made a spoon like this and it was covered with a peel of packaging thing. So you can actually tear it off, remove it, and the this thing will be appearing. So you can use that spoon for eating. So yes, C is one of the correct answers. Now let's come to B. It has a handle to hold on to without freezing the hand. Okay. Although it is not in the design of it, but probably I intentionally emphasized on this aspect, so this has also taken value. Stackable and easy to store. So if you see those images, this is the basically the top view of the ice creams. If I make the top view, so if you see the traditional ice creams are of circular shapes, right? So there is a lot of voiding which becomes a problem. So they utilize that. Stackability was another thing. So they can actually be stacked like this. Let's see the correct answers. The correct answers are A, stackable, C, easy to hold, and D, stands out and instantly recognizable. So, like I mentioned, they changed the very shape of it. All the ice cream cups were coming in this form. They shifted it to a triangular kind of shape, and that's made them very very distinguishable in the ice cream industry.
And they uses a different color also.
Correct, correct. Each had a different color. Well done. So the correct answers are A, C, and D. Those who made choices of A and C, you will get partial marks in your exam. Okay. Let's go to the fifth question. The brief for the cooler project was, so here we are talking about the symphony cooler. It had to be a dash cooler and it was designed for dash just like an air conditioner. Okay. So again, we have got two blanks. And the options for the first blank are lightweight, compact, movable, smart. Options for the second blank are, which means it was designed for dash. So we've got outdoor environment, window installation, inverter, voltage issues. So the best part of this question and these options that if you know either of the one, you will be able to crack this question. It will be easy for you to answer it. So if you know any one of these options,
B is the answer. B.
we have got vote for B. Anyone else?
B.
A, sir.
Okay, we have got one option for A. Anyone else? We have got one vote for lightweight. So let's write responses and then you will be able to evaluate. Okay. Uh, I have to make a correction. It should be circular because it's a single select. Since all the options are different, right? So people have, let's take the most voted one. Compact window installation, and the other is lightweight and how. Okay. So if you see in principle, if you're talking about the cooler project, which was plastic based, the moment we change the material to plastic, obviously it becomes lightweight. Okay. So in principle, lightweight might be correct. And it was designed for dash, just like an air conditioner. Now, air conditioner also, has a exposure to outdoor. So in principle, these options could be correct. Could be correct. However, the correct answer is B, which is compact and window installation. So let's figure out, where it has been talked about. If you go through the book sections, you'll find the correct answer being written. So Corjan was the studio. This is the design studio which basically did this exercise to design an air cooler back in 1989. So we, just like I mentioned, between the mid of 80s and 90s, it was come up. It was mass produced, and the small outfit makes the metal coolers. So these were also heavy and noisy and rusty. So these things, even Nitin sir has mentioned that these were the issues. The brief for us was that it had to be a compact cooler, and it was designed for window installation just like an air conditioner. Okay. So, see, even if while watching a video, you can miss out certain statements because, for that you actually need a very consistent, active listening. But while you are reading through the content, in a book or a book chapter, it's hard to miss it, right? So I would always suggest that if you have been going through the content in only video format, just try once going through the textual format. We'll be doing it today. We'll be doing it today. You will understand that we come across a lot of new statements, things which suddenly becomes unique when we read it out like that. All right. So the correct answer is compact and window installation. Let's go to the sixth question. Which among the following is true for HP ice cream packaging? Your options are each of its different flavors has a different colored packaging, spoon integrated into the lid, bold triangular package with striking colors and graphics, and all of the above. Just imagine we are talking about the same thing.
All of the above D.
Got response. Okay. Meanwhile, if anyone else has an option or a preference, please share.
All of the above.
All right. Okay, so Hokey Pokey ice cream packaging, each of its different flavors had a different color packaging, so that is why it became quite unique and quite distinctive. That's very correct. Spoon integrated in the lid, I think we talked about. So there was a notch here. You just like Amul butter, the small butter cakes, they have something like that. You peel it off, and the spoon with this particular shape was exposed, and you can actually utilize it for eating. Bold triangular package with striking colors and graphics. So that's also mentioned in the video. So let's check the correct answer. It's all of the above. So well done, all of you. Correct answer is all of the above. You all get full marks. Very nice. Let's come to the seventh question. It's a little tricky one. Basically, it's a fine play of words over here. The Widener architectural signage video demonstrates the dash between. So these are the different stakeholders: fabricator, designer, and the developer was constant to keep the work running smoothly and to provide best results. Your options are friendliness, synergy, harmony, bond.
Answer is synergy B.
That was very instant and very prompt. Okay, Nitin sir. Anyone else?
Synergy.
All right. Okay, I think friendliness, we'll understand it's not friendliness, friendship में कभी काम होता है कभी नहीं होता है, but it's not something which is always workable, right? बॉन्डिंग और फ्रेंडलीनेस भी कहीं ना कहीं एक उसी दौर पे है, मतलब नॉट नेसेसरी द बॉन्डिंग हैपेंस वेल बिटवीन ऑल थ्री ऑफ देम, मे बी टू ऑफ देम, वन ऑफ देम. So why not harmony? My question to both of you is, why not harmony? What is the difference between harmony and synergy? Because of which synergy takes your response.
Actually, harmony is related to the integrity among the peoples or the designers or the any institute peoples. Synergy is the coherence between the aspects.
Sir is saying that harmony for him is more related, and it's primarily about integrity, and he's saying synergy for him is about coherence. Okay. Ma'am, what do you think?
I think it's a combination that comes together when three stakeholders are coming together, so there is a better group work being done there.
Hmm. Hmm. So actually, while I was framing this question, even I was quite, finding these options quite close. So just to give you the clarity, and so both of you are correct. The correct answer is synergy. Your logic stands true here. So I just check the meaning online. It says synergy means the interaction of two or more parts working together to create something better than the original component. Okay. So when I saw this statement, it actually made sense that yes, synergy would be the right answer, because we are talking about more than two entities. We are talking about fabricator, designer, and developer. All of them trying to come up with a better signages, and that's where the correct answer is. Now, there are many ways signages are being treated. This could be directional signage. This could be instructional signages. It could be the identity signages as well. By identity, I mean, you might see a logo of a brand, just like Haldiram. Instructional is wherein they say that, keep your belongings here. If you go to a temple, it will say keep your shoes here, right? Directional signages basically gives you and informs you about the way, this way is the washroom, this way is the staircase or the lift, and even this, gets translated and transformed into signages for directions as well, in terms of giving, this goes to, say for example, CP Connaught Place, this goes to India Gate. जैसे जो आपके मार्ग भी होते हैं, अशोक मार्ग, अटल मार्ग, these things. So there are different ways the signages are being worked out, and this is just for the informative perspective. Okay. So yes, both of you are correct. The correct answer is synergy. Okay. Let's go to the eighth question. Hornet used dash wood into desired shapes. Then he began experimenting with the technique of bending wood with dash. So again, we have a fill in the blanks question. These are the options for A. These are options for the second thing. So A, the options are join, adhesive, carve. B is pressure, chemical treatment, force in silicon molds, steam in cast iron molds. So just try to fit in these uh, options, and you'll be able to derive out the answer. It's not that tough.
D.
Answer is A, join and pressure.
Okay, we've got a tie here. All right. So I would first request ma'am, ma'am, can you elaborate? What was the process? What was happening here?
Uh, if I'm not wrong, I remember them speaking about the process of bending the wood with steam.
Okay. What about the molds?
That's what I'm also confused. I do remember steam as a major component, but I do not recall the iron mold part.
Okay. Sir, what do you think? Join in
Yeah,
pressure.
joining of the wood is correct, but they are also using the pressure, hand pressure also in because it is a very first chair, sonnet number 14, and I think it in 19th century, 1889, 15, I think.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
at that time, they are not using the machinery; they are using the hand pressure, or the
Correct.
bench wood. Yeah.
Good, sir. I mean, you are also deducing at the same time. So you're quite aware with the industrial revolution and that period. So the correct answer to this question is D, which is carving and steam in iron mold. This is the correct answer. And they were basically, this member was being molded through cast iron molds. So the idea was that steaming was, softening this wood. Can anybody tell me which type of wood they used for this?
Beechwood.
Perfect, perfect. Beech wood. It's one of the hardwood. It's used for a lot of times. It's used for furniture aspects only. It can also be used in flooring as well. Okay. So that could also be one of the questions in examination. So beech foot was being used. Initially, they were carving it out. उसको shape दे के carve कर करके they were gaining this particular shape. But eventually, they also experimented with heating it up in a steamed environment. So the because of which the wood become soft, and then they used a सांचा जिसे हम mold कहते हैं जिसमें कि वो shape करके they used to clamp it and leave it to dry. So जब वो ठंडा होता था it would take that shape. Can anybody tell me while they were shipping it, what was the volume size in which they would be able to ship and how many chairs?
They were able to keep 36 chairs in 1 cubic crate boxes.
1 by 1 meter cube. Well done, ma'am. Well done. We have actually gone through the content very thoroughly. So, they could do this by dismantling it. All right. Means it was the front runners of flat pack furniture. So all the components could be, taken off, disassembled, and could be stacked in ways wherein, in 1 cubic meter of volume, they could actually accommodate 36 chairs. Now that's a huge number given the kind of volume we are talking about. Although at that time, we are talking about that particular period. So obviously now we have a lot more options. Probably the volume would be much lesser, but during that time it became very popular because one of this aspect as well, the ease of shipping, ease of logistics, and hence where it made deep impact, deep. It went reached into different markets, different scenarios as well. So yes, the correct answer is this. Can you tell me the chair number, ma'am? On it number.
It was the 14.
Wow. Great. Great. Let's come to the. Okay, so that's the correct answer. Second last question. Seska chair by Marcel Brewer is also called. It's a very direct question. Options are springing chair, bending chair, cantilever chair, all of the above.
Option C.
C.
Cantilever chair.
Great, great. Yes, so each one of you are correct. Can anyone tell me what are the great features about it, why it was so famous?
Yeah,
There
it
are no
had springiness. It allowed ventilation in humid climate. It could be separately manufactured and then assembled. It had stability.
single material is used for bending. No other joints is there.
Mhm. Single pipe used in bending. So if you see this is the continuity of the pipe, it goes up till here, it goes up till there. And the same pipe is continuing here, right? So the only two members attached is the seat and the backrest. And since these were made at different places, so it also had a very quick and easy assembly. And this basically shape, gave them that springiness. And as Vam said, because of this mesh, they could actually allow breathing when you are sitting. So a lot of modern chairs do, utilize this particular principle of using mesh. The materials change, the fabric is changed, but the principle remains the same. So yes, all of you are correct. The answer is cantilever chair or the Seska chair. So please remember both the names. Brewer is also something you might need to remember. If you remember these three names, you'll be able to answer any questions pertaining to it. Let's come to the question number 10, the final question of our session. The below statements are an example of. तो ये एक statement है. You have to read this statement and you have to tell me this is example of which kind of an approach. I like the way this works, but I wonder if it was put another way, what would happen? Okay, it stops here, or I suggest X or Y. So I will add another question to it. So obviously you have to answer this. This is the part one of it. Part two is in which context it is being said. Is being said. मतलब वो क्या परिस्थिति है जब we are making this statement and then this statement is an example of which approach.
This is a non-confrontable approach, and context is when you are wants to critics.
Sir, can you please repeat? There was some disturbance. I could not.
The non-confrontable approach.
Okay, and context is
Context is if somebody wants to critics, then in terms of the criticism, that is the context.
okay. Okay, fine, fine. So, sir says that the correct answer is non-confrontational approach, and this basically is said in the context of criticism. So, when you are, uh, you know, sharing your feedback, you need to. Okay, okay. Anyone else? All right. So let's find out the correct answer. Yes, very much true, sir. Non-confrontational approach is the correct answer. And this is essentially what you mentioned about how we respond to people's ideas. These are the scenarios which we face often in classes, even in professions, even when we are seeing and going through presentations for a particular, pitch or a market or a product presentations. Instead of directly criticizing that, no, I don't think this will work, the better way is that you take that up in a non-confrontational way. So you do not confront that person, and at the same time it is also important that the person who is receiving the feedback, he also takes that in that sense, so they also say that you should not get defensive in action. Both these terms are very, very important. You don't have to be defensive at the same time. You don't have to be, sorry, you need to follow non-confrontational approach. All right. So that concludes our set of 10 questions. We have got half an hour left. And what we'll now do is that I'll go through the content recap. We'll utilize the book version, which I showed as a screenshot, and we'll go through the book content for week three. And I've highlighted certain text which I felt that it could be important. For you, it might be a little different. If you are going through the book content, you might highlight some other things, but just to give a brief idea, I think I thought it would be good that we have this thing as well. Okay, so let's take a 5 minute break, and let's start at 7:30. And let me just show you, what I'm referring to. Right. So I mentioned page number 150 is where it begins. Yes. Okay, so let me show you the front page of it. So this is the book PDF. Okay, I'll also show you at the before the session closes, where you can download this book from, so that it will be helpful for you to go through the course in a quick way, because it contains all the content till week four. Okay, and for this particular week content, it begins at page number 153 in the PDF. I'm sorry, right. May I know those who are in the session today, have you gone through this book earlier, or this is the first time you are actually seeing that book in a PDF form is available?
First time, sir.
Okay, okay. Anyone else?
First time.
Okay. Michelle, ma'am?
First time.
Okay, so I think that was a good thing to highlight. Okay, let's take a quick break and let's gather back, and let's go through it. Okay. So hello everyone. So I hope people are still there. So what I'll do is I'll first start since a lot many of you said that a lot many of you said that you are viewing it for the first time. Probably what I'll do is I'll show you how do you access it so that once you know where to access it from, then we'll go through the content part. All right. What you can also do is you can in parallel, if you are on a system, you can in parallel open up your NPTEL portal and you can try to log in because it might be a possibility that you might face certain other issue. So, that in that ways we can screen share and get it resolved. Meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll my screen on share once again. Okay. And let's go to the hmm. So basically this is your course tab. Now, what I was referring to was this particular link. Like I mentioned, these are the left pane. Okay, so these are the week wise content. If you click, you'll be able to see the week's content. The blue bubbles are the ones which you have probably already seen, right? All these are in blue. Week 4, if you see, it will be empty. Okay, it's unfilled. So it basically shows that you have not filled in the content. Okay. What you also see is the weekly feedback. I'll just briefly discuss this and I'll come to the books part. So, this is basically a link of, how the content is and your feedback. Your feedback is also important for me as well as the NPTEL team. It is a weekly feedback thing. So you can actually share your opinion whether the content is you can choose a particular week, week 1 to so it contains till 12 because there are certain NPTEL courses which are of 12 weeks duration, right? So your course is 4 weeks, so you can actually select week 1 to week 4. If you feel that in one of the sessions there was something of an issue, you can actually select any one of them. Tutorial videos content help answer all questions. So you can actually say yes or no, difficulty level of assignment, questions on the forum being answered, any other comments, will you continue the course next week? Okay. So it gives a good understanding of how the learner is going through the content, whether they are finding it difficult to understand the content or if the content is easy, whether the questions are they're feeling that it is difficult. So because we have a very diverse set of audience, we have got students, we have got professionals, we have got people who are at the senior level posts as well. We've got educators and assistant professors and professors. So to understand how is the this particular rubrics of whether it is tougher, whether it is easier for all these different designations and different type of users, it brings a lot of richness in making the further quizzes. Okay, so you can do it for each and every week. It will be an ideal scenario. It will be helpful for us. Now let's get back to what we were talking about, the books. So below week 4, you will see the books section. Okay, I'll also talk about these three. I believe these three would be something you would have not referred to as well. So if you click on books, you get to see English book. You click here, it takes you to this particular page. So you click here to download English book. All right, click here. So it will now open the entire book over here. And you can basic download things, you can actually click there and you can download it. If you want, you can print it and keep a copy with you. You can add to your drive. So this is the book which I was referring to. It starts from week 1 and it goes up till week 4, and the entire content has been transcripted and with the images so that you understand in a much better way, right? So this is where you will get the access to the book. I talked about the feedback area. So let's talk about another aspect, which is the download videos. So many times we also faced scenarios where people were having trouble with internet in certain durations, okay, or they don't have a very great connectivity at all the times. So what can be done is that you can actually go to download videos section. It depends on this particular page where video can be downloaded in all the three formats. You need to click here, right? And you can see you've got downloads here. Here you get all the assignments, okay, from week 1, week 2, week 3. You can actually download them. Transcripts is also available. Although we have just got the English language, you can select it. The moment you select, you can download the transcripts. Okay. Books are available in different languages. Although for this particular course, we have got only English, but there are few other courses where the team is trying to translate into other languages, including Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada. Because our learners are from different places across India. So this is an exercise which is being done, and probably down the line we might see the content in more of the regional languages. And in the last tab, you've got videos. Okay. So lecture one, lecture two, lecture three, you can actually, click here and then you can download it. See, download. All right. So till week 42, you have the entire content available in the video form, in the book form, transcripts, as well as assignments. Okay. On the left tab, you see the live session. So this was a live session which was conducted way back in 2020 by the professor herself. Okay. Now coming to the third thing which we have seen in the presentation, but I'll also show it to you in this particular part, which is the problem solving sessions, recordings and PDFs. Okay. So when you click here, you click on the problem solving session. It says click here to view problem solving session. You can click here. And here, like I mentioned, so for each week, you can actually see the YouTube content. All right. This is the common folder wherein if you click, you'll be able to download the presentations in PDF format. These are the two presentations for week 1 and 2, right? And so here you can access both the YouTube recordings and the PDFs. There is one more link below it which says survey on problem solving sessions. So my request to all of the learners would be that please take some time. If you have been thorough in attending these sessions, if you have been regular, it would be very, very helpful for us and helpful for me as well. It's like giving feedback to these sessions which I'm conducting. So basic details will be required, your name, your email ID, which week you're referring to. Did the session meet your expectations? It's a scale from 1 to 5, where 5 means completely agree and 1 means completely disagree, right? Are the live sessions useful for solving the assignment questions? Overall, how was the live session? Were you able to access the recording of the session and presentation from course page? Overall rating of the presenter? Are you getting the announcements and any feedbacks? Okay. So I know, I mean, doing it for every week will be tough and challenging for all of you, but if you will try, it will be helpful. Okay. So I'll just get back to all those who are in the class. Is it now clear where to access these contents from? Or if you still have any doubt in access, now's the time we can actually discuss. Anyone? Michelle, ma'am, is it fine now? Nathan, sir.
Fine, sir.
Okay. Karan, you're there. Is it okay? We have got Dr. Jaswinder ji.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Fine. Fine. Uh, Now I'll be going through this particular week's content in the book form. So if you wish to say you stay in the session, you are most welcome. And if you wish to read it at your own pace, that is also perfectly fine. So, anyways, I'll be doing it for the next 15 minutes till our session ends. Yes. Okay. So, week three started with the conversation between Professor Nina and Professor Rashmi Khorjan, or rather, the professional Rashmi Khorjan, who is also a designer, and they were working in a studio called Korjan, Korjan. Just take a note of that studio's name, and it was Miss Rashmi who was, working in Korjan. They gave you the example of how you change certain features of a mobile and how the demands are getting varied in diverse set of audience. It said increasingly it is the design that provides industry with a competitive advantage. When we are having so many mobiles with similar features with certain modifications, it is the design which is actually making people aware of what the difference is, and their choices are differing because of it. It could be because of the color, it could be because of the finish, it could be with respect to the user interface of the mobile, it could be with respect to the faster processing of it. So there again, some people have sat together and identified the logic that this is taking a lot more time, there is a lag time, let's try to resolve it, right? So these are the things wherein design takes a front seat, and it defines the market as well. So they say good design leads to the good business, and that's how they are showing the example of the Gillette guard, which you were talking about. Now, if you see here, okay, I can't scribble right now. Hmm. Okay, so if you see, there is a hole here. So the idea was that जो rural context है हमारा, वहाँ पे they said that people need to hang it as well. क्योंकि it's a rural context, they might not have those folders wherein you keep all these stuff. So they ensure that there is a void here at the tail end wherein you can actually ulta करके you can hang on your uh, razor as well. It also utilized a comb-like feature. If you see here, you can see, let me just do it. This is a comb-like feature, and the idea was that it was utilized for the thick hairs of the Indian men, which they talked about. And then they fine-tuned the grip part as well, how the grip could be improved. So these were being used traditionally, but they shifted it, for the Indian context. Like here, they mentioned that showed that Indian men tend to have thicker hairs, and also in rural areas they do not shave as frequently, right? And then they made a team of 20 researchers who went to the field to get more genuine responses. And see the scenario, they were sitting on the floor without running, low light. So I'm just going through the highlights of it, I'm not going through the entire content in detail. So they highlighted that safety was more important than a smoother shave. Okay, so this is another thing which they learned. A question can come from here as well. Okay, what were the insights from their ground study? That safety was more concerning as compared to a smooth and a clean shave. Okay. Yes. And then here they basically talk about, from Gillette, they are coming up to a scenario where how individuals can actually trigger a new market. So this is the story of Oxo Grips, wherein this guy actually sees the issues of his wife, and struggling with the, working in the kitchen. And then he calls up his partner and says that whether we can, make something. So the firm, he reached out to a smart design, and they came up with the interesting range of products. Their philosophy was to understand the extreme users, of both the ends, so that if you satisfy them, the central range of users would automatically be part of it. So it's also about, how you can make your designs more inclusive. Okay. And here they are talking about the air cooler, the symphony coolers, where the market was shifting from the metal coolers, and they wanted a window installation just like an air conditioner. And so, yes, we are talking about the molding process. It's about the plastic injection molding, which Sir also rightly mentioned. And they utilized six interlocking plastic components. Okay. So that the assembly could be easier. This is the range of products which they are showcasing. Here is an example of basically an asthma inhaler, which they have redesigned, Satish and Falguni Gokhale, wherein they use a dry powder for the inhaler of asthma patients. So this is the design. Then they talk about this particular hockey pokey ice cream. Very interesting visuals. If you see the visuals, you'll actually, get excited about it. See, this was I was talking about, the lid, which can be removable, and you will be able to access your spoon with it. So it's led by Nishma Pandit and Balakrishna Mahajan. And here they showcase the entire design, wherein this is the ice cream, this is the lid with the spoon, and then the top label, which is a peel off kind of a thing. And here you can see, each and every flavor having a different and a very, very stalking and rich graphics altogether. And the brand targeted the young customers. So this is also very important, the kind of target audience you are having and how you are able to, reach out to them, utilizing colors, utilizing shapes is very, very interesting.
It is used in Pune, sir.
Sorry?
This hockey pocket design is from Pune.
Pune. Acha, you have eaten
I
this
am from
particular ice cream?
No, no, I have seen it.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Very nice. Thank you for telling me, because I have mostly remained in the northern belt of, Delhi and Haryana and Uttarakhand, and I had not seen this brand. So probably next time I go, I'll try to locate the store and I'll try to have it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you so much. Right now, this is also very interesting part that, once you eat it, but these also becomes a good collectibles, right? And it's a similar story which we also see in the, if you go through Indigo flights, and initially the people used to collect those tiffins, in which they used to give, dry fruits or certain cookies, and then how those tiffins were being reused as a storage spaces for a lot of, domestic use. So they also capture the essence in a very, very interesting way, wherein, it is up to the user, how to reuse those containers. And it's always, helpful, because, instead of throwing such an interesting and well designed product, a better reuse is always, appreciable. Here we talk about the Thonet number 14 chair, which was made of beech wood, utilizing, these components which were dismantleable, and with a very set of, unique pieces. These are certain old imagery where they show, how it was being made and assembled, and then how they started using steam chambers in order of softening the wood, and then applying pressure. Here you see, there is this mold being made, and there they are. Yeah, this is a better image. They are clamping it and, setting the wood in that particular mold. Very interesting. This we were talking about how in 1 cubic meter volume they were able to stack, 36 chairs. You can see, these are the legs, this is the back, these are the seat base, and, the other parts of the chair. Then comes the Seska chair or the cantilever chair, which was made of a single pipe, which was bended. Once the patent got over, the company Godrej took up the design, and they started making it in the Indian context. And they also came up with the table for it. So, and this picture basically talks about the idea, how Brewer actually got the idea. So he looked at his handle of, bicycle, and he thought that, this nobody is using this handle. The metal pipe has not been used in furniture, and that basically triggered the idea of using that, bending of pipe and making it into a furniture. So I think one of the skill is also very very important is that of being observant. What is happening around you. In the initial classes, I think we also discussed about biomimicry, wherein how through observing nature we can actually address the issues which we are facing in the today's context. So this is the table which they came up using bent metal pipes, and ma'am is actually explaining the cantilever chair, how it brought springiness in it, how it helped in ventilation, and it was great for hot and humid climates. And obviously, assembly was, a feature of it. Then comes how the buying behavior has changed. It's not just the product is designed. How the customer is reaching out to a product is also important through websites, through mobile applications, through web applications. This basically talks about how the role of designers have shifted from physical products to digital products, wherein they are also now visualizing data. So those people are called data visualizers, interpreting data in a much more visual form rather than a very typical, Microsoft spreadsheet and, Excel sheets. These are certain examples of crowdsourcing platforms, wherein crowdfunding platforms, wherein you can actually get funded for your ideas, your creations, your products. These are some offbeat ways of generating funds to materialize your ideas. And then, the next speaker of the session was Mr. Mukesh Patel, who was talking about design and collaboration, and later gave the 11 principles of collaboration. This is an example of how the exhibition was set up in Moscow and the role of exhibitions. Certain examples by Mr. Dashrath Patel. And he talks about, who can be a leader. It could be anybody who has a better understanding of all the different domains. And then Professor Neena talks about the animation which she worked with Mr. Sher Singh from the Bhil community, and how he was initially skeptical about it, but later, he shared so many stories about it, and then they came up with a very very interesting video, which actually has a deeper meaning to it. How the animals showed them the way of storing waters. Right, I'll show you that picture wherein it shows that a snake making a burrow, and then the water being collected there. And then one of the older lady, Bhudi Amma, says they have shown us what to do. And that's when they started digging up storage areas, and to store water. Then they talk about collaboration in their current recording of session, how their sessions are being recorded, how everything is being planned. This was a quick example of how two different people from one from the hospital staff, the other was a stationery manufacturer. They got themselves together to come up with a backpack design, and another example of a car, Renault. So every stakeholders comes with their own background and their own expertise and perspective, which adds value to the entire design, and enriches the ecosystem in which the design is being made. And then comes the 10 principles of collaboration. We'll not go through it, but you can actually keep it, save it, so that later down the line, whenever you need to go through it, it's always good. So, starting with the online collaboration tools, self-assessing yourself, speaking the language of commitment and acknowledgement, and being accountable to what you are, your role is, asking the right questions, setting the rules, because rules are very important when you have deadlines, when you have clients, preparing the team to fall apart. Now, personally, I like this one the best because uh, it is the fear of failures which actually hold us, which limits us from taking the risk of trying something new. And that's where it's important to prepare the team to fall apart, which basically means you face obstacles, but then you come out of it. Seeing conflicts as opportunity, basically finding out creative areas and the constraints, design thinking and prototyping, encouraging critical thinking, rewarding the innovators, and reflect and move on. Okay, so yeah, so by this we end our week 3 content. So week 4 content starts from here, which is innovation by design, wherein Professor Chakrabarti will be taking a few examples, which we'll see. Okay, so coming back to our presentation, now I will close on my presentation. Okay, so I think we will be ending the session today. Thanks a lot for joining in. Thanks a lot for participating and being there, sharing your views, sharing your experiences, and sharing your probable options of the correct answers. I hope you'll be there in the next week, which is the final week, the week 4 of it. And we'll be meeting next week, same time. Thank you so much. I'll close the
Thank you,
session.
sir. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.